Welcome back to the InherAlchemist TV. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look into Arionne Curry. Before we get started, please like the video. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you have your notification bells on. So, I decided to approach this as if Arionne was just a person who went on my Etsy app and ordered a reading, and and this is what it is. So, I wanted to be completely unbiased and non-judgmental, and just let the cards speak for themselves. So that's going to be my take on it. Yeah, so we're going to see how that goes. What else did I have to say? I think that's it. If we need to do a part 2, we will. But I don't know. I think this reading is it's not so much straightforward as it is pretty comprehensive. So I think that will be good. Okay, so, okay. So, first I want to say that Arionne, oh my God. Okay, this lady is a trip. So, first off, Arionne is coming in as the Six of Wands in reverse, as well as the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords can be like a combative energy, kind of like verbally abusive, but also, I feel like this Knight of Swords with this Six of Wands is a person that puts on like they are something that they're not. You know, they have like this false sense of pride and security, and it's stemming from a deep-seated low self-esteem. I don't know if you ever talk to people and they're so outwardly appearing confident, you know what I mean? But on the inside, they're really very insecure. That would be kind of like this energy. I'm also showing that even though there was a lack of strategy as far as like her overall plan, there are some things that she was hoping and wishing would happen that did happen. But I don't feel like she really understood how to go about what she was doing, so it kind of comes across like she's winging it. I do show that she got with Martell because she thought that he had money. And she knew that he had a wife at home, but I think she was under the impression that they were co-parents or that the wife was the baby mama or something like that. But whatever the relationship he explained to her that he had with his wife was, that's something that she became very jealous over. Arionne is also showing as being like a dangerous person with a perverse mind. So, I don't know how that's playing into this whole situation, especially as far as Melody receiving harassing text messages or maybe death threats. I know in the video that I did about Martell and his jail arrest, a lot of people were saying it was for revenge porn, but in my reading, it was showing it was maybe like death threats or him threatening to hurt himself or hurt the kids. Now, with her coming in as, I don't know, she's coming in as being very perverse, meaning that she's kind of like illustrating things that she may have wanted to happen to Melody or things that he could make play out. It's also she was coming in as a King of Swords in reverse with the Queen of Wands in reverse. You know what I mean? So this is somebody that is very kind of like mean-spirited and manipulative, but it's due to an inner sense of like jealousy, right? Now, her mind, she's also coming in as having some sort of mental illness. Now, I haven't dug in yet to see exactly what that is, and I will get there. But mostly she has like these hidden or repressed dangerous murmurings or thoughts in her head. I don't want to use the word diabolical, but she almost has like these diabolical thoughts in her head that are, I don't know, motivated by vengeance. So maybe in her past, I don't know if she took a lot of shit or took a lot of abuse, but she's coming across as like the type of person who did not always maybe stand up for herself, but instead she went and thought about like a lot of different things, like chopping people's heads off or setting somebody's coochie on fire. You know what I mean? A lot of dark things, but at the heart of it, it was her being jealous that maybe she couldn't express herself, or maybe she hasn't achieved some type of station in life. Could be something like that as well. She always saw Melody as abundant. She thought that this was a rich couple. And I'm not going to blame her for getting pregnant, because I don't think that's fair. But she's coming in as having a perfect execution of a plan. And when I clarified that plan, it was the Ace of Coins and the Empress. And so that either means you had a perfect execution of becoming pregnant, or a perfect execution of taking down a woman who you saw was quote unquote abundant. Now, I know somebody in the comments said that they felt like Arionne did some witchcraft on them. Arionne, if she is able to pull off witchcraft, she has the Three of Cups, which is a witchcraft card, and the Hierophant, which is a spiritual card, but they're both in reverse. The Hierophant is also very profane in reverse, can be very chaotic or debauched, should I say, is the best way to put it. Now, if she was able to pull off what we call witchcraft, it would just have been by the strength of her mind. You know what I mean? Like, she can send her mind into a dark place where she generates a lot of negative energy, and those thoughts can get really, really dark. You know what I mean? Really, really dark if she has a target. You know what I mean? So, and that's honestly, that's the same thing with a lot of witchcraft. If you have, especially dark magic, you have to have the intensity of emotion towards a person, place, or thing, and they can feel the intensity of your hatred, which sometimes makes them make their own mistakes, and then they end up pretty much falling into the hand of it. But the person themselves has to be weakened by a certain frequency or vibration, you know what I mean, such as a lot of hatred or a lot of sadness. Now, if Melody was going through, like, for instance, quote unquote, a position of sadness or a weakened state from financially struggling, whatever she was going through, then that would make the witchcraft, quote unquote, which is the intensity of someone's emotions or hatreds towards you, more effective. I've had that happen to me not too long ago, and the way it played out for me was I started to have, like, excessive bleeding and, like, kind of like womb problems. You know what I mean? So I had to protect myself. I had to counteract that magic. But just to give you an example of how it plays out. So if you have yourself at times where your period is overly heavy, or you find that you have random ailments, like your joints are stiff, or you wake up with headaches, then most likely you're being spiritually attacked by the intensity of someone's negativity towards you. You know what I mean? So you can use a evil eye candle, evil eye oil, evil eye palm balm. It usually protects you for about a year. Obviously, I sell that on the InherAlchemist, but just as an example to combat negative energy. If you find yourself having any of the symptoms that I named, or anything just unexplainable, right? But I say that to say that Arionne is an illusionist. She doesn't carry any actual power, and that's why she goes in her mind and she maniacally plays out situations in which the outcomes are very perverse for other people. But she's an illusionist. She's not actually doing the quote unquote witchcraft that people think that she's doing. You know what I mean? And you'll have some people that'll threaten you with witchcraft and threaten you with certain deities, or speak in tongues, or do some weird shit, and you may get alarmed and you may enact your protection. I had a lady do that to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to go to war with this lady, but I had to, and then it was revealed to me that she was an illusionist. And they do have illusionist deities that basically make you feel that something is going on around you, and they are able to control and manipulate your energy based on your perception of what's going on, right? More than anything, Arionne is just thinking a lot of perverse, negative, diabolical, mean thoughts. Now, it's possible that she could be communicating these things to Martell with this Knight of Swords, and she could be using all of her energy to communicate that with him, and that's why he's also taking on that energy and using that type of language and those type of words. Not to say he's not capable, but again, this could be communicated from a different source, if that makes any sense, right? Arionne is very reactionary in her emotions. So when she has those tinges of what I described as jealousy, or she has like these repressed, she has like a repressed inner anger, right? When she has that, her temper flares up and she goes into like a blind rage. But she doesn't have a actual expression for this. It goes right back into her mind. And then her form of alchemy is to turn it into a horror movie in her mind. You know what I mean? Where she may see you being chased down, or she may see Martell as O.J. Simpson. She may visualize these things towards you. You know what I mean? As a way to console her own jealousy or even like low self-esteem, if you will. Now, the Six of Wands upright is more like a person that's kind of like in their ego, but on the more victorious side. Again, in reverse though, this would be an envious person. You know what I mean? This is a person that feels that they have been largely unappreciated, and they hold a lot of anger or resentment towards, I don't know, the world. You know what I mean? I feel like she feels maybe, I don't want to say ignored, but she feels like she's not special enough. You know what I mean? Is the only way I could put it. Now, with the Strength card also coming up in reverse, even though this is a near future position, she got both the Strength and the Hermit card in reverse, and I also saw the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is about conflict and fighting, but it's still like fake. You know what I mean? It's not real. And the Hermit in reverse can also represent something that is like a disguise, or something that is false, or something that is in hiding. And what I think she's in hiding about is how low she is as a person, because she's steadily presenting something that she's not. With the Strength in reverse, this, I feel like at some point she was like the victim of a lot of cruelty and abuse. And I feel like deep inside of her, she is scared and very weak, but I don't feel like this is coming out right now, because this is in the future position. But in the immediate past, I had the High Priestess and the Four of Pentacles. So this is like she's holding on to some type of secret. Now, when I clarified what that secret was, I got the Two of Cups, which is a marriage, and I got the Judgment. So this is like a legal marriage. But I also clarified that down to the Nine of Pentacles. Now, there's two ways of looking at that. Either the secret that she's holding on to is that she's completely single, and that her and Martell are just in a partnership or partnering to execute these devious plans, quote unquote, or they actually got married. Now, the other way I looked at it is that she's holding on to a secret from maybe her teenage or childhood years, in which maybe she interfered in some type of way in a relationship. And I feel like that relationship could have been like with a family. So I don't know if it's her actual mother or her sister or somebody close to her, but she could be holding on to a secret that she, I don't want to say like messed with somebody's man or something like that, or somebody's man messed with her. There's not a lot of childhood energy, so this is not something that would have happened when she was young, like a molestation. This would have been more so with this Knight of Wands. With this Knight of Swords, it even could have happened like between the ages of 19 and above. I don't even know how old she is, but I feel like the Knight of Swords is like between 19 and 35 or something like that. So as early as 19, I feel like there was a situation with another relationship with a family member, and there's some type of secret that she's going to take to her grave. If I had to put my money on it, it would be that she got with or slept with one of her family members' husbands, or even her own mother's husband. I don't know if she has, I don't know what type of relationship that she has with her mother. Because the reason why I say that is because in her subconscious mind is the King of Wands, which is a husband, and also the Emperor. So this is a husband and a father. So either it's her own father and husband or it's somebody else's father and husband. But she had some type of secret relationship with somebody's husband or father. Okay. And like I said, I don't know if it's her own mother's husband or one of her friends' husbands or something like that. Now, obviously, we know about the relationship with her and Martell. This is not that. This is not that. This is something that she's held a secret for a while. Now, I don't know if this is why she's coming in as perverse, meaning that I don't know if you suffered maybe like some sexual abuse or you were turned out or you went through some type of other type of situation. I don't know if that's why your mind is perverse, meaning that you stand up to others in your mind, or you wish that you could execute something against your original perpetrator if she was a victim in this situation. Now, this was also clarified by the Five of Swords in reverse. So, this tells me that with this secret that she's holding on to, it's something that she did not reveal because she didn't want the drama. Maybe she felt like she was going to be blamed for it. But in this situation, it was almost like she was already like the victim of like passive aggressive behavior. Like people around her were very like passive aggressive towards her. And she felt like she had to like walk on eggshells or something like that. This is, I feel, within her family structure though. And I feel like she always had to like tiptoe around people or sort of suck it up. But again, because she couldn't defend herself in some type of way, I think that's why she, like I said, retreated back in her mind and just started showing negative thoughts. And honestly, when I look all the way over here to this Empress and this Ace of Pentacles and this relationship that she intervened on, I wonder if she was projecting her aggression or passive aggression towards this other situation on to Melody and Martell. And that's why she has maybe like a lack of empathy for Melody, because she's able to outwardly express that, but she couldn't express it in this other situation because it had her in check in some type of way. And I think that's how she developed the quote unquote mental illness, was because she was like stopped from having some type of expression. Listen, and this is one of the things that they have, it's like young girls are, their anger responses are disarmed. So when you're young and you're a teenager and you have anger, a lot of us girls are kicked out the house because of our mom's boyfriends, or a lot of us are told that we can't talk back, we can't slam doors, we can't express anger. You know what I mean? And so what it is it's a disarming of your natural anger response. And so when we grow up, we stop responding when we feel angry in a very natural and healthy way. And we retreat into things like either passive aggressively responding to life, or just going into our mind where we create scenarios where we come out on top. So if you have a situation where a woman gets into an argument and she's beating that argument, she goes in her car and she replays it in her mind as if she came out the victor. You know what I mean? Now, the other ones are typical girl crimes. When your anger response is disarmed from coming out naturally, then we go behind people's back and we're passive aggressive. We do things like sleep with other women's men. We do things like create a pack mentality and create groups of people to bully another person. These are all done covertly, talking behind each other's back. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's just the way women are. That's the way women are when they have their anger responses disarmed in childhood, so that it becomes unnatural and it becomes more on the cruel and mean side. You know what I mean? And I feel like, especially with this Five of Swords in reverse, I feel like her anger responses to whatever was going on with her was disarmed in some type of way. And it made her weak. And I feel like she spent a lot of time in her mind. She spent a lot of time deliberating and replaying things. And I feel like this relationship or this conflict or this drama with this love and marriage Huntsville, it only provided her an opportunity to play out what she should have played out or what could have played out in her past. It was her, she had another couple that she interfered with, and I would say it was a mother or a sister or something like that. But she didn't get to wild out and do all this crazy shit that she's doing now. And so I feel like this is like her retribution some type of way. Martell and Melody represent for her something more than just this relationship. Now, like I said, Arionne also has some fear. I feel like she's in fear with this Knight of Swords in reverse. She's in fear of going to jail over something. I don't know if she will, because I have the Ten of Swords in reverse. To me, that's like a release, and it's also a temporary success. So I don't know if that will actually happen, but it is something that she's paranoid or has some type of anxiety about. That's another thing that she has. She has horrible anxiety, and I feel like that's another reason why she maybe talks a lot. But again, her talking is more, it's kind of like a form of alchemy from the perspective of she's just trying to change the energy and make people think that she's better than what she is, or she's an illusionist. She's an illusionist in her own mind first, but also in the mind of the world. With the King of Swords in reverse, this is a lot of verbal manipulation. So when you call it magic or witchcraft, it's true from a perspective of it's mind manipulation, magic, words. All of your spells are going to start with words. You know what I mean? That's why you have to practice thought stopping. And thought stopping is basically you not being on autopilot when you accept the words of others, and that you intercept words that come at you and you examine them. Some words are going to be for your good and you need to apply them and make changes, but others are just not that way. But what people do is, because they're on autopilot, they just let every thought frequency enter their self person, and you have to stop it midair, examine it, and say, okay, I can accept that, or no, I reject that altogether. And it's definitely okay to reject that. Now, right now, Arionne has some type of plan. It didn't work out. I feel like it's in regards to some messages or some emails. I have the 8 of Wands and the 4 of Wands in reverse. Somebody fucked up her plans. She had some type of plan and it got messed up. I feel like with this 7 of Coins, it might have been a money play that she was working on for a long time. I feel like I don't know what the money situation was, but I feel like her shit got a wrench thrown in that shit. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a need. She has the 3 of Wands, and this is like labor, but I'm feeling like she needs to work. I feel like she needs to work. In her outcome, she has the 3 of Wands in reverse. For some reason, something was like, that's like, you need to get a job. But the 3 of Wands in reverse is also her being very divisive. You know, because when it's upright, it's about teamwork. When it's in reverse, it's about division. And then on top of that, it's clarified by the Temperance card in reverse. The Temperance card is about achieving balance. You know, where things are not lopsided and messed up all the time. In reverse, that's not what's going to happen. In reverse, shit is fucked up. With the 3 of Wands in reverse and the Temperance in reverse, there's going to be a breakup. I don't think that her and Martell or whatever. Now, listen, like I said, in her recent past, there was a marriage, but I really honestly believe that that's the storyline in her family history. With this 9 of Pentacles, I feel like she was an outsider in her own family unit. She couldn't be cohesive with them, but again, I think that's because she had that like mental illness. She's crazy. She's crazy. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying it is what it is. You know what I mean? But with her and Martell, their relationship or whatever it is that they have, situationship, is imbalanced. And I feel like, I don't know. It's like, you know how you look at things like where you have like the narcissist and the borderline personality disorder person get together, and it's crazy. It could be something like that. You know what I mean? But within their relationship, there it's showing up as like a disunion or something that's like not going to I don't feel like it's gonna work out. I don't feel like it's gonna balance itself out. You know what I mean? Now, I can't blame her for anything that happened between Melody and Martell, because like I said, he was a cheater when they got together. He's going to stay a cheater. He's going to be a cheater when they break up. So I can't blame her. But what I will say is that I feel like in her mind, she wanted to become pregnant by him. I also feel like she saw them as couples goals. You know what I mean? But I feel like it triggered her because it reminded her of something that she was locked out of. Like I said, if there was if like her mom kicked her out over her husband or boyfriend or something like that, then Melody and Martell represented that same dynamic or couple or something like that to her, where this time she was gonna win, whereas against this other couple, whether it was her mom and her sister or her, I don't know, it was something where she was like ostracized or something like that. And I don't, you know what I mean? But I feel like I said, with this Four of Pentacles and this High Priestess, there's some type of secret surrounding those situations that she's holding on to. So I don't know if she's like not even giving the person like the truth, or she knew some type of truth and she didn't say anything or something like that. You know what I mean? Now, I pulled some sexual tarot cards because I wanted to look into it. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why, but I wanted to look into it. So Arionne came up as the Queen of Pentacles sexually. The Queen of Pentacles has sex for the sake of sex. You know what I mean? So I feel like for her, sex may be some type of relief, but again, I think it gives her a sense of power, but it also gives her tremendous creative or magical energy, because again, she's a person who likes to hoard events and take them in a corner and think about them and then pervert them. You know what I mean? She's a person that is very sensual though, and she's very sexually free. You know, so I don't know not to compare her to Melody, but I feel like Melody enjoys sex in a different way though. But in this situation, Arionne will be coming in as more easy to please. You know how you have those type of women that, I don't know, you know how they just be I read this book and it referred to them as vulgarians, right? And it's just like people who be hooping and howling and putting a 2 on a 10. I mean, you know, and I'm not saying the sex is not good between her and Martell, but I'm saying that this is a person that is also more performative than anything. But also, it's a person who she's not very discriminating when it comes to her having sex. You know what I mean? Now, the Knight of Cups in reverse also showed up, which is more like a seducer energy. Now, this could be her or it could be Martell, because I pulled the sexual energy for both of them. This would say that she was tricked, or either she tricked him. But it's kind of perverted from the perspective of it played into some type of like baby girl fantasy. Or I don't want to say like a molestation fantasy, but you know how some women will play men by the mind by acting like little girls or little babies, and then the man will want to like have sex with them because of their like youth or whatever. But it's more so it's kind of like predatory in nature, because she's presenting him with like, I don't know, she's presenting as a child and it's turning him on in some type of way, right? The Knight of Cups in reverse is also, they like to, I don't want to say grape, you know what I mean? But they like to be the first to take a woman to a certain place sexually. You know what I mean? So if he did something like sodomize her or something like that, or engage in some type of anal sex, or he came in her mouth, or he peed on her, it's something that he did sexually to her that she never had happened to her before. And it created like a not a soul tie, but it created like a tie or a link where you would have to use like a yoni cleanse or a yoni tea, which is something that I also sell. But it's almost like it created some type of imprint on her. You know what I mean? It's some type of sexual place that he took her, but it was perverted. You know what I mean? I don't want to say turned her out, or this could be her towards him. It could go either way, right? But it's a form of grape. Now, the Knight of Cups in reverse, though, is a seducer, like I said, right? But the Knight of Cups in reverse, what they do is they feign a friendship in order to get access to you sexually. You know what I mean? So if you have some guys that try to get close to you and they're presenting as benign, like they're cool with you, like they're your friend, but really they're just trying to fuck you. You know what I mean? Now, bringing that around to the grape issue, this is something that men have to be careful with, because like here in California, they're coming up with laws against getting sex from women under false pretenses, like the false pretense of a relationship. Or you know how a man, like I have a situation where a man knows, like, hey, I don't fuck with niggas who have other options. I don't fuck with niggas who fuck with their exes. I don't fuck with niggas who have me on a rebound. And then they have all of that shit going on and they lie to you about it. And then you engage in a relationship and get sexual with them based on you not knowing, even though they know if you knew you would not want that. They're trying to classify that as rape. Now, when I look at somebody that has a fake friendship to get sex, that's a form, or could be considered a form of emotional rape in the future. And I think that that's why this Knight of Cups is coming up here. But the thing about Arionne is she was gonna fuck him anyway, so it was no even need to pretend to care for her. But again, I think he did, and I think that's why the situation went a lot deeper than what it did. But that would be just Martell being a square and not knowing how to get pussy outside of pretending. You know what I mean? Now, I feel like Arionne, listen, I'm not, okay, the Four of Pentacles is here in reverse, right? With this Knight of Cups in reverse and what I just talked about, Martell did something evil to her sexually, and she's threatened him or has some type of threat over him because of that. Now, when I go back to this spread and I look at this High Priestess and this Four of Pentacles, remember when I said that she's holding on to some type of secret or something that happened in a relationship? Again, this could be a whole external situation involving I feel like it's involving another couple, because the energy is repeating here now where Arionne had, somebody did something to her sexually and she has some type of threat that she's holding over them. You know what I mean? Over perverts. Now, I'm not going to say that makes her some type of hero, but she has a warped path or agenda against somebody that maybe raped her or did something perverted towards her. But again, I think that a lot of her warpath or her execution of that is happening in her head. I don't know if she's afraid to do something or afraid to speak on something. And maybe in a way that's why her energy is so fucked up, because she's not directing it where it needs to be. She's giving the full weight and intensity of it to other things. And that's why it is coming across as you being an illusionist or out of balance in some type of way. You know what I mean? But I don't know, like with this Four of Pentacles in reverse, she has, somebody did something to her. Like, I feel like she had to like protect her sex organs. Like I said, I don't know if this is in a situation with Martell or if this is in life, this is in childhood, but she had to protect her sexual organs or something like that. You know what I mean? Growing up or something like that. She had to protect herself. And I don't know. The girl was unprotected by some people around her because I don't know if she tried to address it or she didn't try to address it, but it seems like the situation created like some type of like tension. And again, I feel like she was like tiptoeing or walking on eggshells, and then those thoughts like regressed back into her mind, and she just became like evil in her mind. But she's not. She's just fucked up and hurt, and I feel like it created a personality disorder in her, or a mental illness in her. Also, she could have been like, I don't know, like the situation, whatever she went through, like people was gossiping about it or talking about it, but she's also a person who, I don't know, she has loose lips when it comes to her sex or sexuality. Like she tells everything. With this page of wands in reverse coming up in her sexual energy, this is a person that like tells everything. You know what I mean? Like she can't hold nothing in. Now, as far as the sex being good between her and Martell, with this page of wands, I doubt it. Like I said, she's having sex for the sake of having sex, not because she's busting grandiose nuts. It's just not happening. Because the page of wands in reverse is like it's like bad news. It's like, so in a sexual spread, it's like this is bad news about the outcome of your sex. Like she's not getting off with him either. And I think maybe that's why he became like angry or something with her, or like became forceful sexually with her, or like I said, did something debauched, like peed on her or choked her or did something weird, because maybe he was upset that she was not having orgasms the way maybe his wife wasn't having them either. Now I know Martell had said he had the hook and the curve, but when I did the sexual tarot, no, he had more of the hook over your balls, and that's the length of your penis. Like, nigga, it didn't go no further than that. I'm sorry, and I'm sticking to it. I believe my cards, and it didn't show. If it was hooked and curved, it was like the hook that you put in the wall to hang up your canopy. I don't know. You know them little. Listen, I'm getting delirious. I could tell the reading is going too long. Listen, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end this here. I'm flabbergasted. I really am. I'm gonna have to definitely sage my energy, and I honestly feel like meditating on this some more. You know, because I think of things in terms of like how if she were my client, how would I help her? You know what I mean? So that's why I often meditate on spreads afterwards, because I think about, if this were my client, what would I recommend? What would I do? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I can do everything, because I can't. You know what I mean? It's taken me like a long time to deal with my own energy. You know what I mean? It's not easy, and you have to be persistent, and you can never change your mind, and you have to be a hog about your healing. But yeah, this was a lot of heavy energy. You know what I mean? And I feel her. I understand her. But yeah, so anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do we need to do a part 2, or do we know everything we need to know and it's okay to move on? You guys know I'm going to take your advice. So let me know what you think about that. And I'll see you guys on the next one.